City keep drinking that Arsenal bottle whilst their North London neighbours hit another miserable low. La Liga goes full retro. The Bundesliga makes history. And we got a fresh Puskas contender via Morocco's top flight. This is DMAC Daily. Incredible scenes at the Emirates this weekend as cringe FC, Arsenal Football Club, throw the title race wide open. Bournemouth deservedly picking up all 3 points in what was a horrendous display by the home side. Now, if you didn't happen to watch this game and just looked at it through the raw stats alone, it appears as though Arsenal dominated. They had more shots, a higher XG, but in reality, this performance was everything wrong about Arsenal's current mentality, because bar a relatively lucky penalty and some corners, Arsenal created next to nothing. 0.18 XG from open play. Their goalkeeper had the second most touches on the pitch. Their creative players were non-existent in this match. Arteta's cowardly approach backfired once again. Genuinely, I've never seen anything like it. I can't recall in my lifetime a league-leading team looking so ineffectual on home soil after 30-odd league games. Don't get me wrong, Bournemouth are an incredibly underrated side themselves. They haven't lost in 12 league games now, which is all the more impressive considering they also lost their best player in the process. A remarkably well-run club in terms of the players they recruit and the manager in charge. But I'm sorry, where is the ambition from Arteta to win this game and to bolster their title credentials? The narrative coming into this fixture was that Arsenal had a mentality problem. It's what cost them in the Carabao Cup. It's what saw them knocked out of the FA Cup. This was the perfect opportunity to prove the naysayers wrong, but instead, the entire football world is now laughing at them again. I mean, it's comical. Your own fans booing you off the park, which may sound farcical as the club sat top of the league, but I can understand how demoralizing it must be supporting this club right now. They've been here before, specialists in second place, and like clockwork, the wheels appear to be falling off spectacularly without any willingness to deviate from their negative, risk-averse playing style. Then there's the cringe factor that only amplifies the slander online. Their social media team are not doing them any favors. Every pre-game promo is marketed like a UCL final. They put TikTok AI slop videos on the big screen whilst training. Then at full time, Gyökeres is lamenting how dry the pitch is. It's just so corny. There's a reason so many football fans are bizarrely rallying against Arsenal, because their online presence is uniquely insufferable. Only they could make the football world universally come together and support 115 Charges FC in their own title quest. As the citizens made light work of Chelsea at Stamford Bridge a statement result, Chelsea themselves were in desperate need of a victory in the hunt for UCL football, but Pep's side comfortably prevailed without moving out of second gear, really. O'Reilly coming in clutch like he did a few weeks prior, Gehi scoring against his former club too, but the outright star of the show today was Cherki. 2 brilliant assists to his name, another effortless creative masterclass from the Frenchman. This guy is hands down the most technically gifted player in the Premier League. Who said the traditional number 10 was a dying breed? He is single-handedly reinstating that archetype of a player. To think City only forked out 30-odd mil for this guy is wild in hindsight. His magic sees the gap drop to just 6 points at the top with a game in hand. They're also catching up on goal difference too now, so the stage is set for next weekend to potentially decide the title. A vulnerable Arsenal head to the Etihad to face a City team that can taste blood. Arsenal also have to manage a UCL tie midweek, so far less preparation for their biggest game of the season. City will no doubt be full of confidence. 9 goals scored, 0 conceded in their last 3, all against supposed Big Six opposition. This looks like the City of old, with a terrifying front four, pure quality in midfield, Rodri looking like his former self now, and a competent backline to match. A win next Sunday and the greatest bottle in Premier League history might be on the cards here. If this storyline does inevitably unfold, I'm not sure how Arsenal recover from such a humiliation. It would literally break the internet. Speaking of breaking the internet, and Spurs' relegation nightmare inches one step closer. There would be no new manager bounce for De Zerbi stepping into the circus that is Tottenham as they suffered a fresh 1-0 defeat away at Sunderland, a result that was made all the more painful as West Ham won comfortably 24 hours and Forest also picked up a point against 4th placed Villa. So now Spurs sit in 18th place, 2 points behind West Ham. There are now 6 games remaining for De Zerbi to overturn what would be the most humiliating relegation in English football history. I don't know about you guys, but it still feels surreal to me that this could actually come to fruition, adding to the sheer pain of it all. Their captain, Romero, looked to have suffered a serious injury late on. How Robbery avoided a second yellow there, I will never know. If you're a Spurs fan, it's just dark times all round. I guess the only solace is that you guys were marginally better today. You looked far more organized and defensively resilient than under Tudor. Also, Kinski looked assured in goal, I guess, but going forward, it's looking Eric Dyer out there. It's a forward line evidently devoid of confidence and quality too, let's be honest here. I reiterate, there is enough individual quality to get them out of this mess, but considering the squad morale, the fact that they haven't won a Premier League game in their last 14 attempts, and the possibility that they'll now be without their leader for the remainder of the season, they might just be cooked here. Like, I don't think they have the mental resilience within this dressing room to survive a relegation battle. You have to also take into consideration that Spurs dropping out of the top flight may be a blessing in disguise for many of these disgruntled first team players, with relegation release clauses coming into the equation and their values subsequently plummeting. It's low-key the perfect exit strategy. Oh, to be a Spurs fan. Elsewhere in the Premier League, and Liverpool picked up a much-needed win to go 4 points clear of Chelsea in 5th. Rio Ngamoa, the rising star, with his first home goal in the Premier League. It was a brilliant strike by the 17-year-old, and then 4 minutes later, the aging Salah came up with a fine finish of his own. Meanwhile, Igor Thiago bagged a fresh brace in a 2-2 draw at Everton. That's 21 league goals for the season, just one shy of Haaland now at the top, and Mateta scored twice to sink Newcastle 2-1. Another miserable day for Eddie Howe's side. Over £200 million of summer signings ineffectual off the bench. What a calamitous campaign it has been. Moving to La Liga, and a historical weekend, the first retro match day in its history. A really cool concept with their TV broadcast showing a retro aesthetic with the scoreboards, match graphics, and kits too. 17 of the 20 La Liga sides had retro style kits used. Even the match officials had retro attire. Sadly, Real Madrid, Barca, Getafe, and Rayo Vallecano didn't directly participate with their own retro style kits. However, I'm all for this league initiative moving forward. You know me, I'm a bit of a retro kit merchant myself. Anyways, on the pitch, there were some big results. Real Madrid stumbled to a point at home via Girona. Valverde's banger wasn't enough as Atletico Madrid loanee Thomas Lemar scored a belter of his own to silence the Bernabeu. Mbappe, Bellingham, Vinny Jr., Diaz all failing to deliver. Meanwhile, Barca took full advantage with a relatively comfortable 4-1 win over rivals Espanyol. No surprise, Yamal was at the heart of everything, first setting up Ferran twice. The second goal in particular was a thing of beauty with an inch-perfect Travella through ball, and just quietly, not a bad finish either from Ferran. Yamal then got on the score sheet himself before Rashford closed out the show. A great result that sees them go 9 points clear of Real Madrid. All focus now shifts to the UCL, where they'll be hoping to overturn a 2-goal deficit away at Atletico, which is going to be some task considering Atletico themselves literally rested their entire starting 11, bar Musso in goal over the weekend in a 2-1 defeat away at Sevilla. We know where their priorities clearly lie. Moving to the Bundesliga, and it was a match day full of headlines. Company's Bayern eclipsed the record for most goals scored in a single Bundesliga campaign. The previous best was 101 from Bayern Munich. They're already on 105 now with 5 games remaining. In what was a heavily rested squad, they still managed to score 5 of the best to go 12 points clear of second place Dortmund. They crumbled at home to Leverkusen, who move into 5th place themselves. However, they'll be disappointed to see that their main rivals for the top 4, Stuttgart and RB Leipzig, both picked up victories. Jan Diamande, the league's latest wunderkind, delivering another huge goal. However, the major talking point over the weekend comes via Union Berlin, having appointed female head coach Marie-Louise Etter on an interim basis till the season season's end, a world first female appointment in a top 5 men's league. Now, I'm going to talk about this story at length tomorrow, as I truly think it is one of the most stunning appointments in modern football history, so keep an eye out for that one. Anyways, heading over to the Serie A, and whilst the title race is still technically alive, I'd argue it more or less ended this weekend as a toothless Milan crumbled to a 3-0 defeat at home to Udinese. Rafael Leao didn't get amongst the goals clearly, but he did have a unique altercation with the referee. Having committed a foul, he proceeded to clap at the ref, to which the ref booked Leao and clapped back at him. Crazy work. 24 hours later, Milan would witness Inter take a scalp over high flyers Como in a 4-3 win on the road. One of the most statistically absurd results I've ever seen. Como were definitely the better team on the day. However, Inter showing the resolve of champions Thuram and Dumfries with a brace. Meanwhile, Napoli were held to a point away at Parma. Juventus crept back into the top 4 with a narrow win over Atalanta. Jeremy Berger scoring the winner against his former club. And there's a new king in Rome, and his name is Daniel Marlin. His hat-trick taking him into double digits for the campaign in only 12 league appearances. Despite arriving in January, he's now 1 goal shy of equal second top scorers Paz and Duvikas. Some lone stint that is turning out to be. And to close out today's episode, how about this for a goal in the Moroccan top flight? Driss El Jabari with a Rabona long shot to win the match in the 80th minute and take his side to the top of the league. I have never seen a Rabona strike generate this much power, and the context behind the goal makes it all the more ridiculous. That has to be the new favorite for this year's Puskas award. Anyways, guys, that's all for today's DMAC Daily. Thanks as always for tuning in, and I'll see you tomorrow.